This month, we're all about support. How are you supporting yourself? Where are you getting your support? Do you have a support store nearby? Where are you doing? Are you winging it on your own? How's that going? Let's get somebody with a Ph.D. in their name shed some light on our dark patches. You wanna? Dr. Tina Schneider's here. She's in the green room waiting to be let in. Let's go get her. You are listening to ADHD Big Brother, the podcast for adults struggling with their ADHD, their comorbid depression, their anxiety. Oh, it's just a hoot. I'm your host and your ADHD Big Brother, Russ Jones. I've got ADHD too. I've got depression as well. It's crap-tastic. So let's learn some stuff. Let's laugh at some stuff. Let's make some commitments to do some stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, here's some stuff. Welcome everybody, one and all one of you. Hey Troy, thanks for listening to the podcast, buddy. Alrighty, because this is a conversation, I'm going to try to keep the ramble to a minimum. Let's see how we do's it. I don't know. First up, in an effort to normalize talking openly about our skull spaghetti, the good, the bad, and the weird, I like to begin by giving you my mental health report. So, squiddy scoop, it's the mental health report. It's Russ Jones' skull spaghetti on display for you. Yeah, I'm still working on the theme song. Okay, so my mental health is in flux right now, meaning that I'm all over the place throughout the day. I'm doing things to work on this, mainly journaling. I'm doing some meditation, spending time with my loved ones, doing a lot of even though-ing. That's a big deal for me right now, because if I waited for myself to feel, good and healthy in my brain before I started working on important shit, I'd be so screwed. So a big part of my own scaffolding has been about, say, I'm leaving the if-onlys out of my operating manual, in my head. And I use even though instead. So like, instead of doing that whole, if only I wasn't so numb to the world, or if only this perspective was different, I'd be able to do A, B, and C. Meaning I would need some sort of a different way of viewing things first, and then I would move forward. And that is such a long journey. I'm into it, but I'm 50. I'm still on that journey. I have a diagnosis, suckers. My zippy zappy neurons, they do not always abide. I chemically sync. I use even though, it's like even though the world feels stupid right now, and even though my skull spaghetti is craptastic, it's shitting on me, even though that, I'm going to do A, B, and C. With a heavy leading on the community for accountability, even though, it's how I got ADHD Big Brother to where it is now. I mean, so you know where I'm at with it, I can support myself with it. And I live in Southern California where it is stupid expensive, and I'm not bitter about it. So I use even though a lot of the time. It worked for me. And I did a scientific study of one on that. And it can work for you too, for only 12 payments of $19,000. Click to subscribe and enter your payment details. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe. The value's there, I'd say. So let's just say you're getting a bargain right now at ADHD Big Brother. I'm offering 99.9% off my sticker price. It's the world's greatest coupon code. You're welcome. Anyways, my mental report is that I'm doing a lot of even though this past week, and it's a perfect time to listen to this episode with Dr. Tina Schneider. I really loved meeting Tina. We met prior to the podcast. She's super smart. She knows her stuff. Here's a little bio situation, just so you know who you're in for. Dr. Tina Schneider is the owner and founder of Monarch Counseling. She's a licensed counseling psychologist in Westerville, Ohio. Monarch Counseling specializes in ADHD testing and counseling, including ADHD in men, women, adolescents, teens, children's, werewolves, druids, orcs, earth genasi. It's across the board with the ADHD. As an adult, Tina was diagnosed with ADHD, and she has a child with ADHD. She teaches techniques that she also uses. Monarch Counseling was also voted CBUS Best Mental Health Provider in 2024, and she's in the running for it again this year as well. So tell you what, if you get value out of this podcast with her, why not show your love by voting for her? And I will put the link to that in the show notes. And then, before we get started, one thing that I really hate, fucking disclaimers. Really quick up the top, this is an explicit language show. I can't help it, nor do I wish to help it. Listener discretion is advised, okay? Discretion yourself. I always feel like these disclaimers, it's the equivalent of creating rules before the game to make sure that all the cheaters and the assholes who would take advantage of the game, they can't do their legal, suey thing, right? You can't sue me, can't get me for this because I said that. You can't get me for this because I said this. Can't we just give the people who spend the time and the money to get a PhD, can we just let them work? Can we give them a little room to breathe without all this bullshit? They can't even really, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but this is just how stupid the world is. Like, they can't really take advantage of helping the world. Yeah, they get licensed in a state, and that's it. It's like, hey, thanks for all the hard work. You can help people in Kentucky. All right, hang your shingle in Frankfurt, and that's where you can work. God forbid someone from Tennessee reaches out for a little help. I don't get it. Anyway, it's creating a light in me to figure out how to help the helpers of the world. Can't we just let them help? Damn it. All right. Guys, all that said, Tina's not your therapist, okay? These are her views and her views alone based on her expertise in the field, of which she has much. The information provided here should not take the place of a consultation with a licensed professional in your area. Go and see a licensed professional in your area because they're locked in. They can't go anywhere. Any ideas or challenges offered here are meant for educational purposes. So there's no guarantees for results. Why would you think that there's a guarantee for a result? You have to do the work, and the work works differently for everybody. Etc., etc. Disclaimer. For the full disclaimer, please push pause and go read the show notes. By listening on, you're saying to me either that you read the show notes and that you agree with them, or you don't give a shit about legal disclaimers, and on with the show, please. I accept the terms and conditions. Go. So with your consent, I shall continue. All right, let's go now to my conversation with Dr. Tina Schneider, already in progress, and we kick it off by asking, what exactly is mindfulness?
So mindfulness is not just yoga, but
wait a minute.
Can be yoga.
It's not yoga? I've been doing
it.
This
Can be. It can be. But I failed yoga in college because I skipped too many classes and I couldn't sit long enough, and I thought I could do it. And Luckily it was pass fail. Mindfulness, intentional, in the moment, non-judgmental. That's it.
I love that.
No time requirement, no special things to do. It can be doing whatever you want to be doing and whatever you're not doing.
Cool. Can you separate it then? Because this to me sounds, it is the same, but it also is very different than quote unquote meditation. Meditation is like a practice, and it's a thing that you do. And mindfulness is like an awareness, I'm imagining, or it's like can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so with meditation, you're still mindful, and you can do walking meditation, sitting meditation. Just imagine mindfulness like you didn't know. I'm holding an amethyst stone right now to fidget. And so
I'm holding a Rubik's Cube.
There you go. I also have an Etch-a-Sketch.
Okay, fidget for fidget. I have mala beads.
Ooh.
All right. Anyways,
and I have essential oils to smell. But okay, so so what I'm doing is I need to move. So in between our talking, I'm thinking amethyst, smooth stone, purple, that kind of stuff. So I don't get stuck in some kind of emotion. I don't know if that helps. So I have my awareness to you and also to this. With ADHD, it's important to sometimes have a lot going on at once. And then people are like, oh, but you can't multitask. Well, there's stuff that just goes on in the background to facilitate attention. And for me, I have to move. But I'm not getting so distracted by the amethyst that I'm not listening to you. So we have to make sure the stuff that goes around in our background is neutral or somewhat exciting, but not so much that it'll take our attention away from what we're really focusing on.
That's super interesting to me, and I haven't heard it put like that. The way I'm getting that is that the fidget actually helps me to focus. It helps me to be in the moment, because if I didn't have a thing to occupy at least a corner of my mind, the part that tells me to move, if I'm not occupying that, then I'm distracted and I'm constantly all over. So it helps us to anchor to what we're doing.
Correct.
Cool.
It's only if that facilitates your attention. So it doesn't work for everybody. What happens in school settings or things like that, they'll say, well, Johnny keeps playing with his Etch-a-Sketch. And, I suck at art. So it's just, I'm not going to be so trying to get the Statue of Liberty on here or anything like that.
You're going to make stairs.
But,
you're going to make stairs.
Yeah, or a stick person. So the thing is when people are really focused on it and say, I wanted to perfect my art as an Etch-a-Sketcher, this is not a fidget for me.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Gotcha.
So mindfulness is like I'm choosing to pay attention to you and not to these other things, but I also need all different types of stimulus coming in to facilitate my attention. For me, it's auditory, but we're talking movement, essential oils, just change it up a bit. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. Yeah, it's done. I like exploring the topics around especially as it relates to, this month we're themed for support, and it's really cool having you on because I'm a depresso. That's my deal. And I know there's anxietites or anxietites. I don't know. What's the name for people with anxiety? Well, I have depression. And so offering mindfulness as a support for those, I would love to hear how that looks, why that looks the way it looks. I don't know why, but if we could explore that a little bit, I'd love that.
Sure. I listened to your episode about your depression recently. And you talked about what you were trying to do and all these. So the thing is, it can be simpler. You can keep it the way it is or not, change it up. Mood, whether it be depression, anxiety, or anything in between, is temporary. So what we have to notice is when we are approaching a mood state, high or low, and when we're reaching a 7 out of 10 threshold. I compare this to my migraines I get, and I take medication. If I wait till my headache was a 10 out of 10 before I took my medication, that medication's ineffective. However, if I'm like, I'm starting to feel like I'm not very hungry, I want to lay around, I feel like I'm going to cry. Things I'm noticing about myself, being intentional about it, not judging myself, but just being aware of it. If I'm like, gosh, this just keeps getting worse and it's currently at a 7, I want to change my environment or do something else, bringing my attention to an activity like what you discussed in your protocol, not to avoid depression or anxiety, but to come out of being stuck in my mood. So it's okay to experience something. You can't drag it around like luggage for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, or the rest of the year, So you just come out. But if you are so deep into it, or if you're super excited, you can't be rational. And so we want to be rational.
Yeah.
When we are in extremes of emotions, like a 10 out of 10, wherever that would be, I tell myself, okay, at this time, I don't want to make any decisions that are important right now because it's going to be based on moods. I don't want to have important conversations with a partner or a worker situation, anything, because it's going to be based in emotions. And I'm going to want to step away and say, can we discuss this at a later time? That's also being mindful of I'm in emotions right now, so I can't do this. The other part is to recognize that everyone's thermometer for emotions and regulation is different. So just because I'm okay to talk about it doesn't mean you are, kind of thing like that.
Yeah, man, I'm the protocol, what I found is that, like you're saying, in the moment when I'm sunk, nothing seems right. Nothing seems like it will work. And so that was where that was born out of. It was like, well, if I just had a checklist of something like drink water, something, move my wrists, it's like something that created some kind of forward momentum into the next thing that I could eventually get into something that is known to help, right? Like walking and being in nature helps me boosts my mood. But in the moment, I could never do it.
So are
Right?
you the same type of person who you're like in a car and somebody's like, "Hey Russ, let's go get lunch." And all the chain restaurants are on the road and you're expected to make the decision for everyone else. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, here's what I do. I say, what do you guys want to do?
Me too. So the reason why having a list works for you is because in that moment we're at decision paralysis. And so for
Yeah.
people like us to have a list, let me have my go-to list, just like I've got my go-to snack foods at work when I don't know what I want to eat for lunch. Right now I've got bottled water, espresso, and a C4 energy drink because I may want any of these at any time. You know?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
super
why the
interesting.
list works for you. You need
Yeah.
it as like this is my go-to, and that's helpful for you.
Oh yeah, and it
Yeah,
starts and it's purposefully starts incredibly remedial. Like it's easy enough to do. Because if I
right,
started the protocol with a mala bead meditation or a walk, I wouldn't do it. It's too big.
right.
Yeah.
It can be as simple as I'm touching my leg, and you become
Yeah.
aware of that. I mean, it's as simple as you want it to be.
Totally.
I'd like to talk about, do you know the movie Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell? There's the author who's writing the book, and
Yeah.
he's going through and he's brushing his teeth 30 sometimes and all those things.
Yeah.
He's just being mindful. He's narrating what he's doing, even though it's really the author that's narrating it. But that's really what mindfulness is. You just kind of like, okay, what's going on? What I do to shift my mind from emotions to mindfulness is say, okay, this is where I'm at. What's next? Or now what? Something like that, a
Oh.
transition phrase to pull me out of my emotions. Oh, I'm feeling that way again. Okay, you're in the hamster wheel. Okay, now what? Okay, I've got an etch a sketch. Purple. Oh, cool. Oh, I'm glad this thing still works. Does it work when I erase it? Yes. When things are going on in the present moment, I can't be anxious or depressed. Depression is about the past, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Anxiety is about the future, what if. But if I'm looking
Yeah.
at something and focusing on what I'm experiencing with my senses, that's now. And I can't be in an emotion when I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That makes good sense. I get the concept of depression is the past and anxiety is the future. And I was thinking about that because the last time that we talked, we were talking about that offline. And
Hmm.
I sat with that for a bit and I was like, what do I do about thinking about the future from a depressive state? I feel hopeless. And so it's not me thinking about my past. It's me feeling apathy towards my future. What is that all about?
Yeah, so I was listening to a podcast recently, and I really liked the way this person worded it. And of course, since I didn't interact with the person, I can't remember their name. I didn't write it down, so I can't remember their name. But
You're too busy etch a
if,
sketching, Tina.
yes, if you don't like your story, change the story you tell.
Okay.
So you're just like, I'm hopeless. Then you say something else. What are you? Say what you
Hopeful.
are. Hopeful. I mean, are you? I don't know.
Well, in the moment, I'm not. I mean, that's the thing. I think that's to your point where I would grab my metaphorical etch a sketch and I would go, it's not about having a fight with my hopelessness. It's about just getting into the present moment and now whatting
Right.
myself. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. So it's more about what you're saying, doing, feeling, experiencing with the five senses. So if you say, I'm hopeless, that's still an emotion. So you just pull it out of
Yeah.
that. Um, some people grab a book, start reading out loud. I might read the back of a cereal box or the side because that's what I did as a kid. I mean, like, really,
Super
anything can do it.
informative.
If you're in any kind of emotion, it's just like
Yeah.
find whatever's around you and go.
Yeah. Are there unhealthy things to do that, like getting into the present moment of smoking pot or getting into the moment of playing a video game. Some of those I would use as distractions.
So it would all depend on what the other thing is that you're doing. The other thing is, if you mean like as a distraction activity, this all goes to how rewarding is it? Are you able to step away from it, or do you get sucked into it? So I talk about the proximity to a habit. So I know I love like these little matching games on my phone, but if there's things that I need to be doing that are different, as long as I'm not expecting calls, I might put my phone in the car and lock it, turn it off, and make the proximity and ease of access not happening. So then I don't do it. But some people could just smoke pot and go on their day. You have to know how that affects you. If it's like, no, that just makes me like sink into the couch and be done, then, is that what you want to be doing? And can you afford to do that today? Kind of like if,
great questions.
yeah. Kind of like a weekend. It's like Sunday night and I have to go to college in the morning. Like, am I going to go to class? And is this a choice I really want to be making right now? So you just kind of weigh your options.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I know I come from addiction, like an addictive, I don't want to say mentality, but maybe you could speak to that a little bit of there's so many things in my life that if I leaned into them, I'm gone. Like I can't smoke weed anymore, but thank God, because it just made me paranoid. But I gave up nicotine because there's no stopping for me. There's no and with drinking, I'm in our community, I think I'm on day 70 or something now of no alcohol. Not that it was ever a problem, but it's that kind of thing where if I have whiskey in the house, I'm drinking whiskey every night until the bottle's gone. But can you speak a little bit to that?
Sure. It's just like food and access. So it's like I used to smoke and I was up to 2 packs a day.
Wow.
But I
Congratulations, overachiever.
But the thing was, it's like I'm all in or I'm not, right?
Yes.
So you just have to know how you are. If I'm all in, I'm all in. And there's some things I don't have to be all in about, but there's some things I definitely am.
Do you find that with people? Do you find that with people that you help, that idea of, God, we wish we could be like a normie or just like somebody that moderates things, like, how great would it be to have like the ability to just have an old fashioned at the end of the day every so often that's not real for me. None of that is.
Some people can with certain habits. So you just have to know which ones for you
None
are the
of them.
all-ins.
That sucks.
That means you're probably gifted.
You're right. Absolutely. Thank you for acknowledging it. Finally, somebody.
Because really, it's true though. So if you've got all the options and you can do everything, what do you choose? Including things for enjoyment. I can do everything at 1,000%. Great. Now what?
But it's all bad. Excuse me. But it's all like like the bad stuff a lot of times.
So when we're making choices about, say we want to change something about behavior we think is a little more all in than we want it to be.
Yeah.
You can say, I'm choosing to smoke pot or I'm not choosing to smoke pot. And either one's okay. But as long as you're mindful of it. I talk to people about mindful drinking, and I don't specialize in substance use disorder or anything like that. But if people are like, I want to cut back, I'm like, okay, what's the day of the week that you're least likely to drink? And they're like, oh, Mondays, because Sundays I'm usually out and weekends. I'm like, okay, cool, Mondays. And then let's be mindful. So you'll be like, this is drink number 1. I'm going to choose to have it or not. Neither one's okay. So it's not attaching some kind of negative judgment. You're looking for also a SMART goal where it's like specific. I'm not going to exceed this many drinks. That's my goal. And we're going to try this for 1 day a week, starting Mondays, and try for 4 weeks in a row. See how it happens.
Yeah.
People come in like, I failed. Like, okay, what do we need to adjust or what happened? Let's talk about it. And you adjust as needed and keep going. So you show up where you are, and that's it.
I love that. I love the data points that we get on ourselves, like by trying something. And then which I believe comes from the mindfulness aspect, is the non-judgment that comes along with that. To be like, it's totally cool. You failed all week. Fine. What did we learn about it? And what's the next step then? What do you do to overcome what got in the way, and that kind of a thing? That's awesome. I've leaned into this. So you can either tell me that I'm way off track, or you can high five me because I got something right. I will just submit myself to you on this. I lean into my black and white nature on a lot of things. And I think the nuance is in the failure. Like, so if I go, I don't drink, I just have to say I don't drink. That's black and white. I either do it or I don't. It's so much easier for me to take away choice, to say it's a do or a do not. And then if one night I have a drink, there's my gray. I had a gray area. And then I go right back to being black and white after that drink, or not. You know, I shouldn't be using alcohol because that's a slippery one for me. But with a lot of like food type stuff, I find it very, very difficult to have, just generally make better choices.
So you can just put it in the present moment. Like, right now I'm not drinking. So I like to put the words right now. Right now I'm not drinking. Right now I'm not eating the candy that's sitting in the jar on my kitchen table downstairs that I know is there. And there's another bag of candy sitting next to it that I didn't buy because I knew if I did,
I love how you have the photographic picture of exactly where it is and exactly
because I keep walking past it.
You're like, I know it's there. Right now I'm not. Right, I know it's there. That's so interesting.
So you can just talk about like right now what's happening and what's not happening. And so there is no past about it. There is no future. And if you are having a drink, I'm drinking. And that's okay. I chose to have a drink, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm choosing not to drink, and that's also okay.
I like that the key ingredient to that is self-awareness at all times. So it's super easy for me to well, this is why alcohol and it's like nicotine would be a slippery slope, is because I will kick onto autopilot. And after the first one, self-awareness goes away, and I just become the robot that drinks or the robot that smokes or so being able to be mindful ongoingly, right?
Right. Do you want to know the scientific part of all this?
Not really, but okay, fine. Go. If you say too many scientific words, I'm going to get lost, but I submit to you.
Okay. Prefrontal cortex.
Oh, God, here we go. I'm just joking. Call it skull spaghetti and then I'm in.
So, with ADHD, that prefrontal cortex isn't developed all the way and there's some issues.
Right. Yeah.
The thing is like the almond-shaped parts of our brain, the amygdala is the next developed region of the brain. Okay?
Okay.
That is the seat of our emotions. So when we're doing mindfulness, I talk to people about blazing a new trail of like self-awareness and doing all these things in the moment, because that's all prefrontal cortex stuff. And it's tough for us because this is tough for us. Okay?
Yeah.
It's easier to move to our emotions with the amygdala because it is fully developed. So that's just easier to go back. And it's easy to go back to what's always been there, the same old patterns, right? Then you've got stuff like whatever you like, drinking, drugs, skydiving, whatever. Those things are immediately rewarding if people like those things. So I would rather take the immediate reward than prolong the reward and wait for it. So it's the wanting the non-delayed gratification. We want it instantly. And so if something is close to us in proximity and we know it's going to give us instant gratification or, not that much time to wait for it, then that's where we go.
God, that is such an explanation about why addiction is so prevalent, perhaps, in our people.
So if you're thinking about procrastination, and Russ Barkley talks about the ship that's out at sea and all at the, the base or wherever you go, the port, And yep, your ship's coming in. It's going to be here in like half an hour. And all the people with ADHD are like, half an hour, okay. Everyone else is getting their stuff ready. And we wait until the last moment, those of us who procrastinate, because it's like the threat of punishment, it's what our brains don't have that keep us motivated to do things. So it's like the whole how our brain is. So we put ourselves in these circumstances where it's like, it could go this way or it could go that way. And it's really exciting because we need it to be there, but we have to put ourselves in circumstances to make it that way. I was always writing my papers the morning of and everything like that,
Oh my God. The book reports that I was reading a book at 2 a.m. in high school. The frustrating part of that is the idea that I have to create those conditions to thrive, but we want to not have to do that. So how do we do? Oh, hit me with it then. Hit me with it.
So I do things like I don't like writing diagnostic reports all the time. They're up to like 45 pages for kids. I just don't like to do it sometimes. God. So what I do is tell somebody a due date. I write it down because I don't want to let people down. I said, I'm going to have your report to you by such and such a date. And then I'll put something in the way. Hey, friends, I want to go out to dinner, and say the paper is due 5 o'clock tonight. And I'm going to ask my friends to go out at 4 o'clock p.m. Guess what that means? I moved the procrastination to before 4 o'clock. So I actually get it done earlier because I put something in the way. If I'm going out with friends and I don't want to let them down, and I told them I'm planning this, I'm going to get it done earlier. So I just put other stuff in the way.
God, you know what? I like that, but I got to push back on that for me because that makes it too hard for me. It creates, I have to now work hard to figure out, I have to put some friend into my life randomly, or I have to, it was like somebody had said that before, like have somebody come over and then you'll clean your house. But I'm like, that's too much work.
So you can also say this. So this is why not everything works for everybody. So I appreciate you saying like that wouldn't work for me. And that's true. So sometimes I say, we can word things like this. You can't have this unless you do this. So we were never the kids that were like wanting a pizza party, do this and you get a pizza party. We didn't care. Like, I'll go without. I don't care. But if somebody said,
I don't want your dumb pizza anyway.
But if somebody's like, you can't have this until you do this, then I'm like, oh, really? I'm going to do it. More likely.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's just whatever works for you. So you know what doesn't work for you. And you know what does work for you. Yeah.
I sometimes go, it's not fair for me to poo-poo it until I've tried it. I'm just I'm pre-thinking that it's a pain in the ass, but it's, I would have to try it. Because I tell you, somebody in our community mentioned body doubling to me one time. And this is a classic example of what an idiot I am. Lovingly, I'm saying that lovingly. But I'm like, body doubling wouldn't work for me. It's not my thing. It's not, I know me and it's not me. And then she's like, yeah, but I've seen it work before. And so I opened up the body doubling room, and it's literally my favorite place to get shit done. I'm like, well, okay, I learned a thing about it, right?
So for you, it makes me think that you don't like the planning, organizing, setting it up of something abstract that you're unfamiliar with. And that part of it is the part about not trying it. But if it's already in place, then you're willing to walk in and try.
That's a very good, astute observation of me. Yes, I believe that's true. Planning sucks. Is that it? If it's not something I'm excited about.
In charge of that.
I know. Oh, if I could delegate. Oh, the delegating I would do. I love that.
So the therapeutic term for what we're discussing here is solution-focused therapy. So you look at what's worked in the past. Solution-focused is strength-based, and it's like, okay, we don't know what to do. You're saying this doesn't work. What's worked in the past on anything that's similar? Let's talk about it. and see if we can bring any component of that to this situation.
Oh, that's cool. We did not hit anxiety. I went right from depression to addiction because it was all about me, helping me. But I know anxiety is huge in the ADHD world. And I think I've been feeling anxiety more later in life now. I'm 50. A little bit at the end of the day, but I especially would have anxiety coming off of when I was taking ADHD medicine. And I don't know how you like the mindfulness. How can you do that when you're in full panic mode? Can you talk about that?
Yep. So full panic mode is the 10 out of 10. So
that's the too late barrier, right?
But what you can do is bring your attention to something. So some people choose like an ice pack. I mean, it depends on what's readily available. But if you've ever watched Fight Club and he's like, "This is your pain," and they went to the penguin in the cave. And it's like going to the animal, and they're like, "No, your pain's here," and it's the acid burn from
okay,
all that. Anyway, you want to bring yourself to something that's sensory based that you can say like, oh, that's it. So whether it be something hot, cold, or smell, it's kind of like vanilla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if your anxiety is body based, what's sometimes happening is that your mind is being tricked. When I breathe really quickly, it means I'm anxious, or I'm anxious, so now I'm going to breathe heavily. And it's this cycle. So in terms of therapy, you might have somebody, as long as they're okay with some cardio, is like, okay, do some cardio exercising. And when you're breathing heavy, you're like, I'm breathing heavy. I'm not necessarily anxious. So you put yourself in other circumstances where the symptoms occur and tell yourself, I'm not anxious. This is happening. I'm not anxious, because you're trying to like fix what your brain is telling you. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I love the purposeful. There's a purposefulness to it, you're putting into a practice of like the more, and I'm not to go back to data points, but like, I love that. So the more you do it, the more you go, oh, exercise, this breathing heavy means I take care of myself. It means I love myself, or whatever the positive reflection would be.
Right.
But there has to be a willingness to do that work, right? To be like,
yeah. And you can't be in a full panic mode to start it, right? So you have to make sure that you're lower enough. So you have to recognize things that are approaching to. Another way to do that breathing thing is to breathe through a straw in and out, because you'll get short of breath,
Oh, that's like inducing the breathing pattern of anxiety,
right,
to then say to yourself, this is me just, oh, wow. Okay.
But you want to make sure you discuss it with your physician, make sure it's okay. And I'm trying to see if I've got something.
We're going to get people writing, I tried your straw thing, and now.
No, I'm not here.
I'm not here. I'm writing from heaven. Dear Tina, what the fuck? That is so funny.
Oh, good. I found it. You just have piles of stuff laying around. You hope you have what you need.
Yeah.
This body picture.
Okay. She's showing me a body picture for all of you podcast listeners.
It looks like, they really don't do the outline of the body when there's crime scenes, but, chalk outline thing.
Yeah.
It's like that, but on paper. So what I have people do, and sometimes I have their whole families do it, so there's not an identified patient, is say, you color on here something down here. It says sadness, happiness, fear, anger, love. It could be really whatever you want, but then people might color their hands and then color their stomach. And then you go around the room and, oh, I noticed you colored this. So that's where you feel anger. Tell me how that happens. So then you can help other people. Cool. Yeah, help other people in your family or friends helping each other. Like, hey, your face is getting really red. Because sometimes with ADHD, we're not aware of things until someone brings it to our attention. I know, like, even the last couple of years, I've realized so much about me, but it's like I had the blinders on. It's like, oh, that's what that is. Oh, So it's like, really use this to help people. And you have to be like, is it okay for me to tell you these things? So it's also a conversation
Right.
of like, hey, is it okay if I let you know? Because sometimes I notice these things. Is that okay that I tell you, like, hey, your face is getting red? Then you can like interpret it however you need that to mean. But you also know that person is just telling you out of love and caring for you
Yeah.
and wanting you to be aware. And you could do the same for them.
That's awesome. Now, I want to guinea pig myself. So now
Yeah.
because I love the visual of that person, that's easily a challenge in the community. And side note, oh man, if you could talk about that oh my goodness, because you're coming into the community. Everybody who's listening to this, Tina's coming and giving us a workshop on mindfulness. So come check it out. I feel when I've had anxiety at the highest level, I would say, I feel it in my chest, like almost like, is this where the heart attack starts? And then the way I feel it is like I feel it in my arms, like I can feel my blood. It's almost like it's so rutchy. I can feel. What do I do about that?
So what you first described is typically what ends up being a panic attack. The other thing that you're describing is sensory sensitivities, and we all experience all of our senses on different levels, like a thermometer or barometer or anything that's got extremes. When people have ADHD, that part of the brain, you can experience things hypo or hyper, so undersensitive or more sensitive.
Okay.
When people have that and giftedness, there's more there too. And ADHD, giftedness, and autism. When people are doing well with that in my office, and they've got those heightened or hypo lowered sensitivities on different things, including emotions and touch and everything else, I'm like, you don't know how well you're doing with this right now because it's so much of a challenge.
Oh, wow.
I can't go into it, but it has to do with the brain functions and these certain areas that are implicated, and certain ones are kind of implicated in all three.
That's so
So
interesting. And
I think it would be.
I'm sorry. You mentioned gifted in there, and I'm probably uninformed about that because I only ever think of it in terms of you're smart. When you refer to that, and I know some people that are in that space that they help kids that are like twice exceptional or things like that. Can you educate us and me on that?
Yeah, so my master's degree was in counseling exceptional children, so that's either end of the spectrum. How I can pretty much tell when somebody walks into my office if they're gifted. I've been right every time, or sometimes they haven't been identified but suspected so. Hit them with every varying level of a topic, and if they can speak on it eloquently without trying, they also have multiple skills in the areas of maybe art and writing and music and sports. 3 sports, they're like first place at their school, and they could have gone to the Olympics on 2 of them, So I can find out very quickly. Plus, they need information presented to them very quickly, and they look at their watch constantly if you're not moving fast enough,
It feels inappropriate for me to, I can't talk on it. You mentioned it about me, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what that means about me. So I'm just genuine curiosity.
Yeah. So if you could probably take your career in so many different directions, maybe like, I know you did some acting and you're doing podcasting, but I think there's more multidimensional aspects of you that are in different fields. And that's not true of a lot of people. And somebody like you might be like, I don't know what to do, or I get bored. So I'm going to do all of them and keep switching back and forth. And maybe I'll like quit this one and keep going with this one. And you have to keep it moving and fast.
Yeah, I could tell you a number of things I've done. But the sad part about that is that when they don't stick, it feels failure. It doesn't feel like I learned a thing and now I moved on, right?
So that's a number one reason that people are in counseling, because they feel that way. And also on a social, emotional level, to connect. If you feel like you're always in a room with people that are like 5, 10 years younger than what you are intellectually, you can't connect. Or if you're connecting the dots hours before they see it, or days or years, you're wondering if they're trying to make you upset on purpose. It's like, didn't you see
Wow.
this? I told you. Or I was trying to tell you, but you didn't listen.
Man,
Now
there's
you're
so
just
many
being a smart ass,
frustrations.
and it's like, not true.
That's such a hard thing to do too. Like if you could, I don't think I would ever feel like I'm the smartest guy in the room, but I might be in some cases, but I would feel like the biggest loser or the biggest idiot that's about to be found out or something.
And that's where masking happens too. Like you have to try and pretend to be someone you're not. And so with the emotions of depression and anxiety, if I came up to you today and I wasn't feeling well, I would be like, yeah, I'm not doing so great. And here I am, and I'm going to do this podcast. If we're more aligned with who we are as opposed to who we're not, at least like our emotions will be somewhat in check. But if we're pretending to be somebody we're not, going to school and sitting and being the perfect student, and then coming home and then being whatever at home, and the parents are like, help, help, help. And the teachers are like, Johnny's great in school. It's because Johnny's comfortable at home to be himself.
Yeah. And then he puts
so
on
it's a struggle.
whatever that, like, this is who I have to be mask.
Yeah. So there's that with giftedness too.
I resonate with that big time. So if we're talking to some people who are listening to this podcast, let me rephrase that. I love to have a challenge, or to do something that's we challenge the audience to do moving forward. I personally want to know what your mindfulness challenge is. What can we do for this next week to practice what you're talking about?
Yeah. So I actually start mindfulness this way with all my patients. So
excellent.
I start with 2 minutes. And you did sound like Mr. Burns. It was really good.
Excellent. Tell us the secrets of mindfulness.
So 2 minutes. And I tell people to set a timer, because passage of time, we don't know. And we don't want us to be overachievers either and say, I'm going to do this for 20 minutes every day because that's who I am, because that doesn't work either.
Yeah.
2 minutes of you're focusing on your breath, or you've got something going on in the background, noise, music, ASMR, rain sounds. I don't care if it could be a dog barking. It doesn't matter. And I shut my eyes because I'm distracted externally, but you can also keep your eyes open, and you're just kind of focusing on your breath or whatever's playing in the background. When your mind wanders off and you're like, oh, did I buy coffee today? Yeah. Oops, bring it back. Oh, there's my breath. Or here's the rain sounds I'm listening to. And you do that for 2 minutes, and you can't be like judgmental about it and go, I just got distracted again. It was stupid. The first time that I did this for myself, it was over 40 times of being distracted. But I'll tell you, the more you do this, the easier it gets. Yeah. And now I'm just like that, because I used to be really emotional, and I'm sure my parents will listen to this, but I would hyperventilate and then forget why I was upset. But it's like, I was that kid. Wow. It works. So the thing is like, we are just going to keep blazing the trail, and starts with 2 minutes, because I think that's reasonable enough. Mm-hmm. And if you get distracted, you just keep doing it. A lot of times right before bed is good, because you're about to like just be quiet anyway, but you can pick any time of day and go from there.
I love that. Yeah.
Another challenge is if you have ADHD and you lose stuff. The first thing that I figured out was I was losing anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes with my keys. Every transition. So I would say keys, front pouch, black bag. When I'd come into the office and put them in the front of this black bag. Reason being is that I would come into the office. Who's my first patient? Did I bring my lunch today? And then I'd throw my keys either in my pocket, in my coat, in my drawer, on a table, mindlessly. So it's not that we usually forget something. It's that we didn't pay attention in the first place to put it to memory. And that's where you come into the working memory piece of things. Most of the time we weren't paying attention. And if you, who's a hands-on learner, you need to be like, somebody needs to say, Russ, they need to tap you on the shoulder. They need to make a sound somewhere to get your attention. And then you can focus. But if they think just because you're looking at them that you're paying attention, no.
You know what you just made me think of is with your keys, is I cannot remember where I park a car in a parking structure ever. And I used to, I've developed the habit of when I get out, I start making all these connections. Blue B, like the B5. And I'd create a rhyme in my head or something, and I would turn it into a whole thing. Now I have a girlfriend, and she actually takes a photo of the place. Yes, so she's brilliant. If only I could have just taken a photo of the place. I'm doing like song and dances to try to remember.
So you also got accused of making things too complicated.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
I can turn anything into a random thing. You know, I will do I call it a meditation, right? But the mindfulness practice. I started meditating when I was like in my 20s. I did transcendental meditation. That was my introduction to it. I don't anymore.
You went in big.
I went in hard. Yeah. Very self-helpy, pre-diagnosis, helped me to figure my shit out. It was a very difficult thing to do. But even nowadays, as an example, one time I meditated, set it for 20 minutes, ass on cushion, totally formal, and with a piece of paper and a pen. And my thing was, every time I have a thought, I'm writing it down. And let's see what happens. And I filled a page. I'd go back to my breath, thought. It'd be like thoughts like, my elbow skin is weird. Okay, write it down. And by the end, I was like, okay, look at how many times I had to bring my breath back. And that, to me, early on, felt failure-ish. But now I think of it as like, no, that's, I got to practice doing that like 100 times, however many, that's 100 times of shooting a free throw. That's 100 times of putting in the practice. To your point, that's me, fixing my prefrontal skull spaghetti lobe situation. That's
blazing a new trail.
I'm blazing. Yes, excellent. All right, so there's the challenge. We know what we're doing. 2 minutes, mindfulness, and then reach out and tell us how it goes. Tina, thank you so much for being here and doing this. And I'm super stoked for you to come and do the workshop. Can you tease it up, like what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, so I can talk about the body thing.
Yes.
But I also talk a lot about Thich Nhat Hanh and the Plum Village School. There's a lot of free resources, but he does a lot, when he was alive, did a lot of the walking meditations, peeling an orange and things like that. Pema Chodron is another one. She's a nun. She's just amazing. She's very blunt, but you wouldn't notice it. And it's like, I love what she does. And then I've got just like simple things you could do with kids or just simple things anywhere. So that's just
what you're
examples.
Bringing to the workshop?
Yeah.
Dude, I like Thich Nhat Hanh was my introduction to mindfulness as a concept. That book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, I still have it. Love it. Oh my God, I cannot wait for this. So everybody else, obviously I'm going to talk about it as soon as we get off here, but it's the free workshop. It's going to be open to everybody. So you don't have to be a paid member of the community to see it or to experience it. Thank you so much, Tina. I appreciate this. It was awesome having you on. There you have it. Tina's awesome. She's just so damn wise. Her wisdom is off the charts. I got a ton out of that conversation. I hope you did too. If you did, please click the link in the show notes and vote her in as CBUS Best of 2025. And if you want to get in touch with Tina, you can do so at monarchcounselingoh.com. That is Monarch Counseling in Ohio. So that's the OH at the end of there, monarchcounselingoh.com. And the link to that will be in the show notes. Or you can join ADHD Big Brother because she's a member in there. Yeah, guys. Yes, psychologists understand the value of a strong community for helping get your shit done. Turns out. We also have coaches in there. It's not just me. We also have woodworkers, solopreneurs, retirees, educators. We run the gamut. Alrighty, if you could do me a favor, after you vote for Tina, could you share the ADHD Big Brother podcast with 2 people? Now, ideally, they don't know each other. So I think if you tell Stan and Chloe, who are married at the same time, that doesn't count. That counts as one person. Actually, you know what? That's fine. I don't know. Why am I being difficult? Anything that you do, that would mean the world to me. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. Would I appreciate it more if it was 2 separate people? Okay, I'm doing it again. I'm sorry. Anything you can do, anything, I would appreciate. I appreciate you. And if you ever want to reach out and say hi, please do it. Make a comment. You want to make a suggestion? I'm into it. Reach out anytime. My email is everywhere. It's russ@adhdbigbrother.com. I'm here for you. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic week. And I will talk to you later.